everyone, it is Tuesday and the coffee is barely keeping me awake today. We have to dive straight into the absolute madness happening right now on the show. The drama is completely off the charts, and I just need to get all these details out of my head and onto the page before I crash. So Nick Newman wakes up, and it is not a good wake up. He is groggy. His head is pounding like a massive drum inside his skull. He blinks against the harsh lighting, and he realizes pretty fast that he is not in his comfortable hotel room anymore. He is in a locked room, a cold and sterile space. No windows, no obvious way out, just heavy walls and a locked door. And the panic sets in immediately. Because the last thing he remembers is walking into a trap. He remembers the sudden attack. The bag over his head, the darkness. Matt Clark actually got him. After all the chasing and all the plotting, Matt got the upper hand. And now Nick is trapped like an animal in a cage. He tries to move. He tries to shake off the thick fog in his brain. But the drugs are still messing with his system. The fentanyl is still pulling him down into the dirt. And he is completely alone in this terrifying box. But then a screen flickers on, a big monitor mounted high up on the wall where he cannot reach it. And there's Matt Clark. Matt is looking right at him through a camera lens, and Matt is smiling. That sick and twisted smile that just makes your skin crawl. But here is the crazy part. Matt is not there to beat him up. Matt is not holding a weapon. There is no physical torture happening here. And honestly, that makes it so much worse. Because Matt wants to break Nick from the inside out. He wants to shatter his mind. Matt remembers the past. He remembers the hatred. So physical pain is just too easy. A broken bone heals. A bruise fades away. But psychological destruction, that lasts forever. And that is exactly what Matt is aiming for. Total and complete mental annihilation. And then Matt starts talking. His voice echoes through the speakers in the locker room. Laughing at Nick, mocking him, telling him to look closely at the screen. Matt reveals his master plan. And it is so dark. Matt wants to completely destroy Nick's reputation. He wants to tear down the golden boy image of Genoa City. He wants to expose Nick for exactly what he has become, a junkie. A mess, a guy who lost total control. Matt tells Nick that he does not even have to lift a finger to ruin him. Because Nick has already ruined himself. And Matt is just going to force him to look at it. To really look at it, without any excuses, without any lies. So the videos start playing on the monitor. And my jaw just dropped watching this. It is hidden camera footage. Grainy but clear enough to see exactly what is going on. It shows Nick over the past few weeks. It shows his out-of-control behavior under the influence of drugs. There is footage of Nick stumbling around, footage of Nick making shady deals, footage of him buying the drugs, taking the pills, snorting the powder. Whatever he was doing, it is all caught on tape. Every single embarrassing and humiliating moment. Matt has been tracking him this whole time. Matt has been recording his downward spiral. And now Matt is broadcasting it right into Nick's face. Nick is just sitting there, and he is horrified. He is watching his own destruction play out like a twisted horror movie. He sees himself looking totally wasted, eyes rolling back, slurring his words, nodding off in the middle of the day. It is the ugliest and most raw version of himself, and he cannot look away. Because the screen is too bright, and the room is too small. He is forced to confront the naked truth of his addiction. There is no hiding from it anymore. He cannot tell himself that he has it under control. He cannot tell himself that he can stop whenever he wants. The proof is right there on the screen. He is a full-blown addict, and he is completely out of control. And the shame is just suffocating him. You can see it on his face. The absolute extreme shame. This is Nick Newman. The protector, the good guy, the hero who always tries to do the right thing. And here he is looking like garbage on a security monitor. He feels sick to his stomach. He is watching himself betray every single moral code he ever had, and Matt is just laughing. The audio of Matt's laughter plays over the footage of Nick stumbling in a drug haze. It is a sick soundtrack to his lowest moments. And the videos just keep looping, over and over again. The same humiliating clips playing on repeat. So Matt keeps taunting him through the screen, emphasizing the destructive consequences that Nick has brought upon his own life. Matt points out that Nick did this to himself. Matt did not force the drugs down his throat. Nick made the choice. Nick bought the fentanyl. Nick took the extra stuff from the dealer. Nick lied to his family. Nick lied to Adam. Nick lied to Sharon and Chelsea. Matt is just the guy holding the mirror. And Matt makes sure to rub salt in every single wound. He tells Nick to imagine these videos going public. Imagine the news stations in Genoa City getting a hold of this footage. Imagine Victor Newman seeing his son like this. Imagine Summer and Noah and Faith watching their dad stumble around like a street junkie, and that thought just pushes Nick to the absolute brink of collapse. The psychological torment is so intense, it is a relentless barrage of humiliation. Nick feels a deep and overwhelming despair. He realizes the true severity of his addiction. For weeks he was living in denial. He thought he was just managing the pain from the car crash. He thought he was just taking the edge off so he could hunt down Matt, but the truth is he was just feeding a monster. And now the monster has completely taken over. He is fully controlled by the drugs, and because of that he is fully controlled by Matt Clark. Matt holds all the cards. Matt has the footage, Matt has the power. And Nick has absolutely nothing. The physical toll starts to mix with the mental torture. Nick is sweating, his hands are shaking, the withdrawal is probably creeping in. Or maybe it is just the pure panic of the situation. His heart is hammering in his chest. He is trapped in a concrete box with his worst mistakes playing on a giant screen. He feels like he is suffocating, the walls are closing in on him. And the loop just never stops. The footage of him buying drugs. The footage of him passing out. The sound of Matt laughing. It is a sensory overload of pure misery, and Nick just breaks down. He is completely shattered. But Matt is not done, because Matt hopes this will make Nick self-destruct. Matt does not want to kill Nick. That would be too quick. Matt wants Nick to kill himself. He wants Nick to get so depressed and so ashamed that he just gives up. Matt wants to break Nick's spirit so completely that Nick reaches for the drugs just to make the video stop hurting. Matt wants Nick to drown in the fentanyl, to overdose on his own shame. It is a diabolical plan, and it is working, because Nick is sitting there feeling like his life is already over. His reputation is destroyed, his pride is gone. His family will be disgusted, so what is the point of fighting? Why not just give in to the darkness? And in the middle of all this torment, Nick starts to question everything. He starts to ask himself if there is any way out. Is there a way out of this locker room? Is there a way out of this addiction? Is there a way out of this endless cycle of self-destruction? He searches his drug-addled brain for a solution. But everything is foggy, everything is heavy. He tries to think about Adam. Will Adam figure out he is missing? But Adam is too busy playing poker and kissing Reza Thompson. Adam is slipping back into his own dark spider persona. So Adam is probably not coming to save him. Nick is completely on his own. So he just stares at the screen. He watches himself fall apart, and he cries. Real raw tears of absolute defeat. Joshua Morrow is acting his heart out in these scenes. You can feel the weight of the world crushing Nick. You can feel the exact moment his ego dies. He has always been so proud, so stubborn, always refusing help because he wanted to be the strong one. But now he is the weakest person in the world. He is a prisoner of his own bad choices, and Matt Clark is the warden. The psychological warfare is just brutal. It is hard to watch, but you cannot look away. It is like a car crash in slow motion. And I just keep thinking about how this changes him, even if Nick gets out of this room. Even if he survives Matt Clark. How does he ever recover from this? How does he look his kids in the eye again? How does he look at Sharon? The mental scars from this locked room are going to be massive. He is being forced to internalize every single failure, every single moment of weakness. Matt is branding Nick's brain with these images. And that kind of trauma does not just wash off in the shower, it stays with you, it haunts your dreams. Nick is going to be fighting this battle for the rest of his life. But maybe there is a tiny sliver of hope, just a tiny one. Because maybe hitting rock bottom is what Nick actually needed. Maybe seeing himself like this is the only thing that could break through his stubborn denial. If Matt had just beaten him up, Nick would have fought back. Nick would have felt like a hero. But Matt took away the hero narrative. Matt forced Nick to see himself as the villain of his own story. And maybe that raw, ugly truth is the catalyst for real change. Maybe Nick uses this horrible shame as fuel to finally get clean. If he can survive the room, if he can survive the withdrawal, if he can survive the urge to just give up and die. So we are just left waiting to see what Nick does next. Will he find a way to smash the screen? Will he find a way to break the door? Or will he just sit there and let Matt's psychological torture slowly eat him alive? I am typing this so fast because my anxiety is through the roof. The writers really went to a dark place with this storyline. It is raw and unfiltered and completely devastating. Nick Newman is facing the absolute worst version of himself. And Matt Clark is making sure he enjoys every single second of the show. We just have to keep watching to see who breaks first. But right now it looks like Matt has already won.